Woohoo!
Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with Chip on the chain. We are going to bring you guys some exciting news tonight. And check out Chip's really cool brand new haircut. He's looking awesome for the show tonight. You know why? Because is it ready? Is XRP ready? The world is on notice. The world is watching. Now is the time. We got tons of stuff going on in this space, Chip.
It's about to go down, Jeff. You ready to do this?
Let's go.
Let's kick off the week. Let's do this.
Welcome to On the Chain.
There we are. Welcome to On the Chain, everybody. Good to see everybody on a Sunday night. Drop where you are coming in from, your city, your country. It's just amazing when people are watching the video back and they put that in there. I love to watch, see it all.
Dude, it's really cool. You know, we're getting people, flooding into the stream right now, which is outstanding.
Veritas equitas semper. On the chain is on my brain. On the chain is on my brain. That rhymes. Good to see you, Veritas. Good to see you, man.
We're going to start a song with that. On the chain is on the brain.
On
got
my
DC.
brain.
We got DC from Ireland. That's pretty sweet. We got Canada in the house over here with El Jefe. But check this out, Chip. Man, have you seen the new Ripple website?
Oh, are we going to do that again? Hey, well, let's look at Well, it's been getting a lot of accolades from crypto Twitter everywhere. And again, because of its focus. But no, Jeff, it's so funny. XRP, what a great digital asset for all that it can do. But you know what? For some reason, there's a lot of haters out there. And it's just beyond me why there are so many haters. But apparently there are. I will say this, that here you go. This is a great community, XRP community member. This is Panos. And Panos, he poses a great question, like, why is XRP so hated? And why is there so much information, especially in 2022? Okay, I can see if it's 2015, 2016. It's 2022. So he says it's time for a thread. Everything started in the thread.
I like that. That's great. A thread. Now, what does that mean? How long is this thread going to be?
It goes on forever, Jeff. It might be the entire length of the show. That's not true. So he says everything started in 2013. XRP, it started trading the technology, had many promises, had the first ever decentralized exchange where you could even trade and move Bitcoin in seconds.
Man, which is true. That's fact.
2013, Jeff. That's 9 years ago. Then Bitcoin Maximalist came in. You can see it's 8 tweets, 1 of 8.
So we're going to go over the ever, but not the 4.
Yeah, there's a lot of tribalism and maximalism in the crypto space, and many people treat crypto like a religion.
Man,
it's pretty good assessment.
I think so. I think it's spot on assessment. And we know all those Apple maxis out there that beat up on the Android crew.
I don't know who they are, Jeff. Yeah, that might happen sometimes. I don't beat up on them. It's just an evangelist. You love what you love, and that's it. You focus on that.
Can we start referencing Bitcoin? So they're Bitcoin evangelists.
Yeah, you can say evangelist. But I think it's different. Evangelizing is very different. When you evangelize a topic, a company, a cryptocurrency, you're basically stealing the great properties of what it does and every aspect of what it is. But a maximalist is you only believe that that's the only one. And even though we have maximalists in the Bitcoin community, Jeff, we certainly have them in the XRP community.
Oh, we see that. Yeah, it does exist. It shouldn't exist. There's room for everybody, even the shitcoins.
Yeah, which is a phrase that was coined by who? Bitcoin maximalists. So there you go. The whole idea. The whole funny thing, Jeff, is the whole terminology is all based on maximalism. You've got Bitcoin, and then you've got altcoins. So there's Bitcoin, which is the one, and the other ones are just all the alternative coins, better known as altcoins. So even in phrasing and nomenclature, there is maximalism.
Well, we're getting ready to change that. And the one thing is, if you want to win, you got to take control of the terminology. And that's where tokenomics comes in.
Right on, Jeff. And that's why Ripple has been so phenomenal in changing up their website and simplifying it, making it easier to understand, easier to find information, and getting away from that complicated nomenclature. So Bitcoin maximalists believe that it's the only one and all others are crap shitcoins, which we've just kind of discussed. And BitcoinTalk.org was the most popular crypto forum back then when XRP creators also posted. As XRP was gaining popularity and many Bitcoiners liked the vision and idea behind it, which was an efficient network to move value and make transactions, maxis felt threatened. He said they started spreading disinformation against XRP, and then the company Ripple that there were scams and that XRP was centralized. They even started paying other people to say it's a scam and to spread FUD. And Jeff, we know FUD is fear,
uncertainty,
and doubt. That's right. Fear, uncertainty. And that's another phenomenal term. If you don't know what FUD, F-U-D means, you can see an example here, and probably take a look at this here. Let's take a jump out and take a look at this puppy here.
Let's see what that is.
So somebody says this was back in May 22nd of 2013. This is amazing. It says someone with integrity.
How do you like that? Is in red. Ripple is a scam.
It's a scam. I was offered $550 to say Ripple's a scam.
And obviously they're referencing the asset at that point and probably not Ripple, the company. Right.
And I received an interesting message in my Bitcoin Talk box, said that user going by the name of Trade Fortress was paying members 5 Bitcoin. Can you imagine? If you had 5 Bitcoin back in the day, Jeff, just to say that Ripple was a scam and you never sold it. That's some pretty
man.
That's some crazy.
Well, it was known as the banker's coin, and they beat up on anyone investing in XRP because it was the banker's coin, which is an interesting notion. Also, going back to the concept of Bitcoin doing away with the banks and moving into a system of financial anarchy.
Exactly. And this line right here, Ripple's led by Jed McCaleb, founder of Mt. Gox, eDongy, and Chris Larson, eLoan and Prosper.com, both successful businessmen who do not have any interest in sullying their good names. And you always look at who's behind a project, someone that had a history. Then it goes on to talk about Arthur Brito, Stefan Thomas, David Schwartz, major contributors to Ripple's development, all played an active role. It goes on and on. We don't have to get into the whole dirty thing, but it says, but Panos is, basically pointing this out. He says this continued for years, not only in forums, but even in popular crypto media where maxis were writing FUD articles about XRP and Ripple. And Jeff, have you noticed that it's not as pervasive as it once was? I remember at the beginning of when we launched this podcast, you and I spent a lot of time correcting these articles that would show up in these crypto publications.
Oh, quite a bit. We'd tear them down.
We would just rip them a new one.
I guess.
And it was so outlandish, if you remember some of the things.
They were fun, though, and people came with such a notion. It was amazing, the misinformation that they would spread. There's still going to be some out there. We still see some of the media types on how they just get things wrong when it comes to crypto. But yeah, I think we've seen a little bit of a cleaning up of the act. A little bit.
Oscar says that Panos is one of the greats, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's great. It's fantastic having a lot of people in this community that are amazing.
Really is, and that's why we want to give them a shout out and appreciate their tweet storms. Miguel here, Brad Garlinghouse stated the crypto market will be a $20 trillion market in 5 years, and Alchemist succinctly points out that's 1 trillion now and 20x in 5 years. So that's a interesting growth that we're and we're just, it's so amazing to see the birth of this financial space and to see being able to witness all of us seeing the fundamental structural changes that are going on and to be able to see this financial technology take root in so many different venues, financially speaking, business wise, and seeing it from a global perspective, and then also being able to talk about, Chip, and witness the resistance that we're seeing from traditional institution, not so much because they don't believe in the technology, but more because they're losing a grip or a grasp on their power structure.
Yeah, well said, Jeff. Absolutely well said. Look at this. Who popped in here? Rob McDermott said, guys, I've been traveling back-to-back weeks. Trust you're both well. Yeah, we're both well. Good to hear from
Doing
you there,
well.
Rob.
Good to see you, Rob.
Good to see you. Crypto Investigator says, it's hard to believe, but tribalism kills the opportunity for people to prosper. It's a good point. Sometimes you get so narrow focus, you miss stuff. And then this one here from Obby Services says, just give us the Bill Hinman emails. And I think we'll be hearing more about that.
Fire. They are on fire.
Soon enough. And this led to, so I'm back into the Panos thread. This led to new people entering crypto believing that XRP is a centralized scam, as some of the top searches have wrong information. And this recently came up with CoinMarketCap, and CZ came out and said, because it's owned by Binance, CZ came out after crypto already put out a tweet, and he said, look, there was a new joiner, probably someone new in the organization, took a crack at that, and they went to go call out XRP, calling it an imposter, centralized, controlled, all this. But somebody else had tweeted out there, and forgive me if I don't remember who, but they said, well, that's great that you said that, but here it is on your website giving out bad information on Binance. So it's a bigger job, and I understand they want to remain somewhat neutral, but this is what happens. And honestly, because I came into the space via Bitcoin, my initial reaction was, well, XLM, and it was like 2016, maybe 2017. Somebody was saying, well, Bitcoin a lot earlier, but I was one of the ones that said, oh, XLM is decentralized. And because this is what a Bitcoin maximalist told me, and that XRP was a scam, and it was a banker's coin, and it was centralized. And, I kind of bought into it because the first digital asset I bought after Bitcoin was XLM. So
that's interesting. I look at, that exact process, so the first asset I ended up in was Bitcoin. Second one was Litecoin. Third one was Ethereum. And then I started looking at, all the different, options that were out there. Then I started playing around trying to trade the different assets and using different, but then finding XRP was amazing, right? Because again, it was in the top 3, it was in the top 4, and it was a really interesting period of time, especially when XRP was flipping Ethereum. And then from a total market cap perspective, in essence, it could also have been in the number 1 spot. But it was amazing going through that, thought process, because I never looked at any of the assets at that time when I first started getting in. Bitcoin is the only one, Litecoin is the only one. I started diversifying, and I started getting into other assets and looking, into the project and trying to gain an understanding of what the asset represented. And it was a really interesting period of time in that late 2017 going into 2018, and riding that wave, and riding that wave up was great. But I remember coming back, as things were kind of coming back down to earth, as the market was on the other side of the cliff, and really trying to gain a even more in-depth understanding and everything, and wanting to get started into doing a podcast, and trying to say, and one of my thought process was, okay, if I get into the podcast, it'll force me to learn more.
Right.
So then I also went out and exactly. And we had talked about that, a lot. But then my first meetup, I wanted to meet other people that were in this space, was a Bitcoin maxi meetup. So imagine
how'd that go?
Going to a bar. Imagine going into a bar and hanging out with these guys, and they're like, well, what are you invested in? Well, I'm investing in XRP, and all of a sudden it's just like, if the entire bar could be quiet, granted it was just our table was the Bitcoin maxis, but it's like crickets, right? And they're all staring at me, and same thing, same response like you had, the same thing, it's the banker's coin, it's a scam, I can't believe that you're investing in XRP, and it's centralized, and why don't you think it's centralized? Why do you think it's decentralized? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you got attacked, man.
Oh my God, by all of them, just hammered by every single one of them. And they're like, oh, you coming back next week or whatever? I'm like, probably not.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit the next Future forever sessions completely out.
Out.
And
that was up in Coral Springs.
oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
My neck of the woods over there. How
Yep.
about that? So it goes on to say maximals feel threatened by other cryptos, especially when they're better, more advanced. So repeating false information is a way to prevent beginners from investing in other cryptos other than Bitcoin or whatever group the group accepts. And then that's why doing your own research and understanding how the tech works on a technical level is extremely important. The XRP network is an open source, decentralized, and very efficient technology for many use cases such as payments, web monetization, DeFi, gaming, NFTs. The latter, DeFi and NFTs, are on the way, but that's going to be coming, especially NFTs. And he says, if you want to learn more about XRP, how its underlying blockchain works, read this. And this is also very good too. Panos put this out, why XRP is the most understood cryptocurrency. And I think we featured this before. It's really, really well written article over here. But I love it. Great thought process. And again, that's his perspective. And for me, as the famous Chinese proverb goes, if you're going to drink from the well, always remember who dug the well. And that's going to be Bitcoin. And at some point, just like, was Henry Ford, did he invent the combustible engine? No, he did not. Was it invented over in Germany? Yes. But he came up with the production line that could mass produce it. And that really was the innovation. And I also think a lot of that too, I liken a lot of that to Apple, where Apple, were they the first no, but did they come out with a really unique way or a feature that differentiated itself? Yeah, absolutely. People are like, well, Android had that feature about 14 years ago. I hear that a lot. But a lot of the way it works, and that's what David Schwartz has come out and said many times. He was into Bitcoin. They all were. So was Chris Larson. And I would probably assert, Jeff, that Chris Larson probably has more Bitcoin than people even think. He came out of Tuesday.
So. He's been around a long time.
Yeah, Prosper.com. What was the other one?
Dude, Prosper.com is just
was fantastic.
It's amazing, and it still is amazing.
Yeah, it's still out there.
Money in there way back in the beginning, and just constantly, just continuously rolling over those investments. It's just like great. every single month, just on autopilot now, and it's fantastic. It was such a great way to to help people in the P2P space. Really, really outstanding. Yeah, I wanted to pull these up. We got some more South Floridians identified in the stream here. We've got Kenwood Capital, not too far from Coral Springs, about 20 minutes out. And then we've got Julian around 50 minutes out. So that 20 minutes from Coral Springs, north or south, could make a determination on which direction they're at. And same thing with Julian over here too. So it's amazing to see how many people are here in South Florida. And then we've got some interesting conversation here coming from Steve Willits, talking about, I think Ripple knows what's in the emails that have been going out. So that's going to be an interesting thought process here. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think quite honestly, what John Deaton said the other day is that there might be two digital assets named in those emails, and one of them we believe is probably XRP. And this is I think it's a really good working theory out there. And there's a reason that they would want to strike that particular. But again, I mean, I don't, hard to know and hard to assess, but suppose it does. Suppose it does reference it. If you're the SEC, you're not gonna want that out. You're not gonna want to see that. So it's something. It's something that would probably be, I don't know if I would say detrimental, but probably wouldn't be a good look for the SEC of what they're trying to restrict or trying to redact. Well, certainly she'll see what that might actually be or look like. I don't really 100% know, but what do you think is in there? There's something.
We're gonna find out. That's for sure. But by this point, they know more than we know. That even though we can read through everything, I'm sure they're having a lot of conversation. They have a good gut instinct of what was in those, in the direction that things have been moving in, and also based on the response of the SEC to cover things up. You know, if you're, you know, if you act a certain way and you go into cover up mode, you're covering up something of importance that you you don't
The
want
other
out
side.
there.
Exactly.
So, you know, what exactly is that they're, you know, trying to cover up? And it's, man,
What could it be, Jeff? It's something they definitely don't want to get out there. So recently, Brad Garlinghouse, well, this week he's speaker at the Milken Institute. We'll get into a little bit of that in just a little bit, but also Leonidas tweeted out some good excerpts from a full video. This was Brad Garlinghouse at the Crypto Bahamas conference. This was on April 28th. And let's listen in here. Hopefully this audio is good. Sometimes it's not always good, but we'll see, Jeff. Let me know if it sounds okay.
volume.
It's up all the way, so let's see.
At this is Ripple's really trying to solve that cross-border payments problem. You know, central bank digital currencies are, you know, domestic by nature. They're issued by a central bank or potentially issued by a central bank. So they're not really solving cross-border problems. They're solving domestic solutions more often than not. So look, I think that what we're seeing happen with stable coins, we're seeing happening with central bank issued digital assets, I think is exciting. I'm not exactly clear how it's all going to play out. You're seeing countries experiment and test. Ripple has partnered with several central banks around the world. Some we've announced, some we haven't yet announced, that they're issuing and testing using the XRP ledger to issue their digital assets on the XRP ledger as a.
Jeff, did you hear that? Some they've announced. Now we're aware of Palau, right? We're aware of there were a couple of them. Like two that we're aware of. He said some that have been announced, some that not have been announced. So there's more in the works. So I thought that right there, Leonidas, what a great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, man, that's really solid. You know, I mean, so obviously they're not going to reveal every little detail of, you know, what they're working on. And yeah, I'm sure they can, but it's interesting too, to note, you know, what he's referencing regards to the CBDCs, that they're really more about domestic movement of funds and not global movement of funds if you have a CBDC, because if you have multiple CBDCs out there, different countries, and I'm always going to fall back on this idea, and I believe this is going to be accurate, that countries want to maintain their sovereignty with their own sovereign asset. Now, that could be a CBDC, that could be simply, you know, a digital representation, you know, of their fiat currency, whatever that might be, however that looks. They're going to want full sovereign control over that. And then from that point, you still have walled gardens, you know, so you're still going to have, you know, an issue of transaction. And since everyone wants their own, so now you still need an in-between solution. It's going to be faster, obviously, and that in-between solution. And that's what Brad Garlinghouse is referencing at that point as well, that's where Ripplenet comes in, you know, and that's where the XRPL is vital. Now imagine they're building their CBDC, you know, utilizing the XRPL. It's even faster, I would think. It's already built in the ecosystem. So you have multiple currencies communicating through Ripplenet. They're all built on the XRPL, but they're not all going to be built on the XRPL. Some are going to be 100% centralized control that have nothing to do with blockchain at all, like the digital yuan, or, you know, what this government had discussed with the digital.
Like all the CBDCs, Jeff, pretty much.
Yeah.
First word, central bank digital currency, central. Yeah. Central, C equals central, C equals control. There's no D in there. There's no decentralized.
They're going to become DCBDCs. Say
that 3 times fast. I can't even say it once. But that's the truth. And, you know, I take a little bit of umbrage with the whole idea of if it's sovereign or not. Quite honestly, most of the time, central banks that it will be issuing these. And there's some rare cases, but most of the time it's a third party, especially with the Federal Reserve here in the States. Here's another one, a little excerpt from this. And this
let's call it sovereign.
We could try to call it sovereign, Jeff, but I don't know. It's a big stretch on that. You know where I stand on that. So here's another little part. And this is a Brad Garlinghouse talking about, hey, question comes up about crypto. Like, hey, man, what's going on with crypto in your world, right? So
he's got a nice shirt on. Look at that. He's
Sporting a
looking all
nice shirt. It's
casual,
nice. Yeah, it's nice. He's
dapper.
got, is that an Apple Watch he's wearing? Or that's like some kind of a bracelet. I don't know what that
And
is.
it just looks like a, that's just a wristband.
I keep that to myself mostly. I mean, I am involved in kind of index of various other leading cryptos, but I don't do it even in the stock market. I don't do a lot of individual stock picks for the same reason. But,
so do you still invest into stocks, or are you all into crypto?
I would say
He's like, you had to ask me that, right? I was like, totally got away from that, and you had to go
I
there,
know,
man. I was like, I
heard how
wiggled out. I was like, I don't even get into stocks. I'm not really. And then she's like, yeah, but are you? She's answering the
What
question.
a great question, though. What a great question. I love that. I want to. This is good.
about 90% of my personal net worth is in crypto.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
You guys a believer.
I keep that to myself mostly.
90%, Jeff. What do you think about that?
90%.
90% of his net worth is in crypto. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows where it's going.
For real, man. That's
He's
not
worth money. So
and the funny part about it is a lot of people gave him a lot of, they're like, wow, Brad Garlinghouse sold XRP and he said he was all in and blah, blah. And like, look, man, it's part of his comp package. When you go work for an organization, you have a comp, package that, in this case, was part of it was XRP. So suppose you say, well, that's great. I've met my goals. We're doubling, tripling, quadrupling revenue, quarters beating the previous quarters, Q1s beating the previous Q1s. He's probably on an incentive plan. Part of that is an XRP. And suppose he's like, great, I want to go buy a house. Well, good. We're not quite at the point where you just go like, great, I'll take that XRP and I'll just go buy a place or I'll do something with it. And so at some point, in the future, everything we won't need off ramps because you'll be able to go direct with the digital currency. And if it's not the one you want, someone can specify it on this side, Jeff, and they'll say, well, I'm sending XRP on this side, but on this side, I want Bitcoin. And it doesn't matter because the XRPL will 4 seconds later, person has it.
Man, that's a great point. That brings up, if you go back in the beginning when we first started doing these
in the beginning, Jeff. In the beginning.
In the day, in the beginning.
God created the heavens and the earth.
God created the heavens and the earth and Bitcoin. And
Genesis.
Then there was XRP.
That's where Genesis came from. You have the Genesis block, which is the very first block on the blockchain. Again, that's a legacy term going back to Genesis book in the Bible. There you go. So how do we get into Genesis, man?
And on the seventh day, we rested.
We rested. No, we prepared for the entire week and the podcast and the work that you're supposed to do.
Prepared for the rocket launch. But no, so I was going to say is that, and you brought an interesting point up with these off ramps. Man, off ramps, a lot of people in the beginning were talking about, oh, we need off ramps and you got to prepare yourself for the off ramp. And I remember we talked about this and we said, why? If you believe in this and you believe this is a 5 to 10 year path in the crypto space, because even a couple of years ago we knew that this wasn't an overnight thing where you're going to get global adoption and all these things are going to happen. If you believe that that's the direction, that this is the next financial asset class, and you believe that there's going to be mass adoption in crypto, and why off ramps?
Jeff, it makes no sense. It's like, I'm so into crypto. It's everything. It's one of the greatest assets ever created, but I can't wait to get it off in the fiat. It's like, you're right, Jeff. And you pointed this out a long time ago. I think you probably were one of the first people to point this out. And you're right. What doesn't make any sense? Like, why would you go at the height and you like, well, I have my numbers. People setting their numbers. When it hits this, then I'm going to cash out. When it hits this, why? Okay, I can see going into another asset, but why would you dump it into fiat, especially something that is, especially USD? I mean, where we're dealing with, or even the euro, or maybe the ruble, because the ruble is pretty strong right now. It's actually beating the dollar and the euro at this point. But I'm with you, Jeff. Let me play a 5-second video. I want to get your reaction here, because does this have any impact? Does this have any impact on what's going on with XRP? But I'm just going to play this here, and let's see this. Here we go. God. All right.
Our buddies.
So they're back, Jeff. They're back. Here we go.
I go to the moon like XRPE. We go to the moon. I go to the moon like XRP. We go to the moon. I go to the
They go to the moon
So-
with XRPEE. He's not saying XRPE. He's saying XRPEEE. Like he's drawn out the P at the
right.
end.
Did
So
you
Jeff,
see the
what's
original?
going on?
Did you see the original video? So it's for like X stick or something like that. So they had a little clip on it, like it's like a 1-minute video. So they get into that, and that's a segment of it. And they get
No, I couldn't.
into the XRP going
I
to
was
the
like,
moon.
to go into the moon. I'm like, like they're turning the moon. What's
So-
going into Moon Boys over here?
I go to the moon like XRP.
XRRPEEEEE. Man, Jeff, what do you think about these guys? I mean, what's going on?
Oh, it's funny. It's
It is
just
funny. It is some funny stuff, right?
Oh,
And
my
then,
God.
and Jeff, our pal, look at this right here. This is great. I want to throw this one on.
McDermott said this clear sign the world is ending.
I would say so. I was like, it's probably not a good sign when the what do they call themselves? Bahama Boys? I don't know what they call themselves. I don't know. They call themselves something. But they're like shilling XRP now. I'm like, great. That's all we needed was more haters in the space because they probably have tons of incoming here.
They were actually shilling something else, but that was just like a segment within it. But I think it's time to move over to Bitcoin.
Here we go. So Wrath the Common put this out. What is Ripple's liquidity hub? What does it tell us about the future of Ripple? Oh, and XRP, that too, but it's at the end. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. It's a long one, but he says, what is the liquidity hub? Well, it's a crypto market aggregator, a one-stop shop for enterprise to source crypto. Ripplenet's Ashish Burla compares it to Kayak or Google Flights, websites that poll available flights to get the best deal instead of tickets. In this case, you have crypto. So why not use the OTC? That's over the counter, not on the chain. OTC desk or an exchange, too risky to have a single supplier. Will there be enough liquidity? Will they charge a premium as the only source? Will you trust your ETF supplier to Coinbase or Binance on the next in a run? Hell no, Jeff. We know how well it's gone on Coinbase on a run. And the demand's global, spanning many different regulations. Remember what a pain KYC AML was signing up for your first exchange. Imagine signing up with 50 exchanges across multiple borders, multiple assets, billions of dollars.
Man, there's so much. Look at this. Yeah, look at this number 5. I think this is the Imagine.
Yeah, Ripple's Liquidity Hub eliminates all that hassle by gathering the assets from multiple sources, presenting them in a unified interface. Not only that, but with the ability to compare the different sources, you can see where you get the best price. There's
Man, that's outstanding. Look at that. It's amazing.
Revolutionary.
It really is amazing. It really is a little bit revolutionary. It's evolutionary, revolutionary. There's a ton going on in crypto. What these guys are accomplishing is really outstanding. Able to wake up a little bit on some of their outbursts politically, but overall, when you look at this from a financial perspective, the world's a different place now because of what they're doing.
Exactly, Jeff, and it's innovation, and they're still leaders. It's more composable, reliable than just one source. Get 40% of your order from over-the-counter desk A, and then the remaining 60% from desk B. Let the computer work out the cheapest option, solve some of the custody issues, and in the future, even staking. So, yeah, it's really phenomenal. Now, imagine when. Go ahead.
Litecoin. Look, there's your Litecoin again.
Yeah.
Scroll up.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Right there. So Ashish is saying Liquidity Hub opens for what is GA?
I don't know, Georgia.
General something.
I don't know, General Assembly. I don't know
General
what it means.
something. I don't. But starting with XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Ethereum Classic. That's interesting. There's your Litecoin again, man. Litecoin is always finding its way in.
Yep. It says, imagine integrated DeFi, all the automated, aggregated, and neatly vetted for your shopping ease. No pre-funding required. Ripple will even front you the credit. There you go. That's another their line of credit there.
Look at that.
Liquidity Hub isn't just a bolt-on service either. It's just some extra. It's the fruit of running an XRP-focused liquidity hub.
That is everything right there.
Everything, the whole kit and caboodle, Jeff. The on-demand liquidity for some time now. It's been tested, it's proven, and importantly, indicates how Ripple itself has been evolving.
That's see initially right there. That's probably one of the most important points right there. That when you look at this idea of the liquidity hub, running on the XRPL, utilizing XRP, the on-demand liquidity, and whether it's not, again, he's saying it's not something that's just like kind of an afterthought, so it is the basis of everything. And this is the differentiator. This whole liquidity hub, ODL, something completely different than what anybody else is offering, and 1,000 times different than legacy.
Right. And the whole idea is the liquidity is everything. And that's really what makes this cross-border, especially on the banking side, those Nostra Vostra accounts, all that pre-funding garbage that goes on there. There's just trillions of dollars sitting out there. It's ridiculous. And it says, now we see that with the better part of on-demand liquidity's innovation was creating a one-stop shop to source that liquidity. Before you sign to move money to a partner in another country, now you sign because they can offer you new partners in other countries too, all behind one interface. And then he points out a great narrative by David Schwartz. And in the future, in November, they told us in the future, every customer will join Ripplenet with the same base service and a wallet designed to support both crypto and fiat, one wallet, one interface, one company, basically routing a myriad of assets.
That's another critical point, and nobody else is this, isn't, there's nothing else out there creating this interconnectivity. So, like we were talking about, whether it's, they're coming into it with fiat, central bank digital currencies, Bitcoin, like whatever asset they come with is going to be transacted through. I think there's just outstanding. A lot of great things happening in this space, and it's really exciting. And Sober reminds us once again, XLS 20. XLS 20 chip.
Yeah, there you go. XLS 20. Please release, because that's what Jeff and I are going to be. Our NFT project is going to be coming out, and it's going to be powered on the XRPL. So there we go. We need XLS 20 to be. So look at this right here. So the evolution of Ripple looks something like this. Start with cross-border payments, add in a little on-demand liquidity, the liquidity hub, and then one wallet to rule them all because it can source it all. So it's a really nice breakdown. Beautiful thread by Wrath of Conman.
I like that. I like that idea. Again, outstanding. Now let's all sell XRP and go get Bitcoin.
Yeah. And then this one too. We got a bunch of things to try to get in here, but Deaton put out this Divide and Conquer 101. He said, when I first read the SEC's complaint versus Ripple and XRP, I warned it was written in a way to divide the crypto community. Although there wasn't one allegation of fraud or misrepresentation, the SEC used fraud-like language for obvious inflammatory reasons, and it worked. Media pundits and XRP haters jumped all over it for months.
Yep.
Public perception with the SEC was claiming fraud. Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson fighting for Ripple's existence.
It's amazing. Think about how these entities work, how they try to create these this negative imagery of Ripple and the team behind Ripple. They really did a hit piece on them.
Yeah, and it even goes on to talk about Vitalik Buterin, who once attempted to intern at Ripple, called XRP a shitcoin. Doesn't take much to stir the tribalism pot. The Chinese comment was 2 years ago when 65% of mining was in China. But here you go. Still today.
There you go. Yep.
Misinformation. Divide and conquer strategy works. Pissed off at gross appearances of impropriety coupled with ETH getting a free pass. But yeah, it's some really strong observations there.
It was really good. But you know what? If you stand by the truth and you keep pushing and you get the people on board with the truth, look what happens. The SEC doesn't, they've been put on notice, as have many other, agencies within government. But man, this is a pivotal moment in the existence of crypto in the U.S. So I'd say
Yes,
the future of crypto in the U.S. Pivotal moment. Hey, before we move on, I did do a poll at the very beginning of the show before we got started. 2022, you're investing in, right, with anticipation of a great 2023. Now the 4 options: XRP, XDC, BTC, LTC. So
You put Litecoin in there.
XRP, I did put Litecoin in there. So XRP got 85% of the votes. XDC got 11% of the
Litecoin got
votes.
0.
Bitcoin got 1, and LTC got 1.
That's remarkable. Interesting.
1%.
Look at this. So Michael Arrington tweeted this photo out of Brad Garlinghouse as the Mad Hatter. I don't know what this is, but he said presented without comment. Then we got a little bit more
Leprechaun outfit.
Yeah, we got a little more clarity because he's at the Milken Institute this week. We got a little more clarity here. So you see that. So Charles Hoskinson tweeted this out, and there's Charles looking all dapper, having fun, and you can see. And I don't know what John Sally, John Sally's in this picture for some reason, but John Sally was one of the greats. The Pistons, you know that, Jeff. I mean, played for the 4 championship teams, and then you have Brad over there. And then somebody actually said, who do you think's more drunk? It says like Brad. And I just think it's one of these smiles. I don't think it's drunk or anything. So yeah, I don't know why this is the Irish table, but they've got the Irish the football jerseys on with the colors, but the only one dressed as the Mad Hatter is Brad Garlinghouse.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to make of all that, and I know Arrington's in this photo as well somewhere. And then there's the blue hairs right there, and I don't know what this is. This looks like something fun. But yeah, Garlinghouse is speaking there this week. He's one of the featured speakers. I think it goes on till Wednesday maybe, but I try to we'll get some excerpts from that once that goes out. But anyway, that's actually pretty interesting.
Very cool.
Good stuff. And that's all we got, Jeff. I mean, that's it.
Couple interesting points that were brought up here. We've got Bird Dog, the Crypto Ronin. We've got some of our on the chain members here. Bird Dog is one of our on the chain members. Legendary Rob McDermott and others in the space. But just some interesting comments. Want to say big shout out to you guys and appreciate you guys. And here, who has diamond hands? It's easy to say when the price is up. Not so easy when the price is coming down. It's true. Makes it more and more difficult when that's happening. But you look at Brad Garlinghouse, and 90% of his investments are in crypto, and that guy's all in on crypto. And it's
no stocks.
It's amazing.
There you go.
Really
It's a believer, man. And that's pretty much all we have, guys. And we will be back on Wednesday. We'll probably have a couple videos dropping on Tuesday and Monday and Tuesday, but we'll be back on Wednesday for a live stream. Oh, that's why they opened a headquarters in Ireland. There you go.
Jam, zam, wham, bam. And that's
I know they're trying to open something in Toronto as well. They're looking at Toronto. They have like about 8 or 10 new hires out.
Let's move to Ireland.
Good corporate tax structure over there, Jeff. They did it right. They did it right. That's why they're attracting all these amazing companies. But there we go, right there. The Crypto Investigator. Appreciate that. That is very awesome of you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff and Chip and crew. Appreciate that. It really makes a big difference. Everything you guys do, all your comments, all your support, whether here, but thank you so much for that. Jeff and I super appreciate that. And we love you guys, man. It's a family. It's OTC family. We love you, man. Give you a big virtual hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Come on, Jeff.
Yeah. Put it in there. Put it in there.
Yeah. Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it in. Bring it in, Jeff. Come on. Come on. Bring it in. Yep. So thank you for that, man. I'm glad we got that in, man. That's really awesome, Crypto Investigator. Appreciate that.
By the end of the week, we're going to be all in with Shiba. But until then, we'll be back here with you guys on the next one with some amazing content. And we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Chip and Jeff out. See you on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.